Namaskar and welcome to News Night. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. First, greetings to you on Holi. Hope your day was happy, safe and colourful. In the show today, we'll bring you diverse hues and shades of Holi across India. While the challenge of COVID pandemic continues to prevail, night curfew and other prohibitory measures are implemented in Maharashtra, that is leading in the fresh spike in COVID cases in the country. Updates also from the pole-bound states. Sigh of relief at Suez Canal as the giant container ship MV Ever Given refloated. The problem isn't over yet, but it's good news nonetheless. The situation in Myanmar remains grim after brutal violence claimed over 100 lives on Saturday. All that and more. Let's begin with the headlines. Holi celebrated in India and the world amidst COVID precautions. Diverse images of colours and festivities of Holi witnessed in different parts of the country. President, Vice President, Prime Minister greet the nation on the occasion. US Vice President Kamala Harris also extends greetings on Festival of Colours. Sharp rise in COVID cases in 8 states including Maharashtra and Karnataka. 40,000 cases reported in Maharashtra alone in a single day. Vaccination drive continues at fast pace. Over 6 crore doses administered so far. India's massive global outreach Vaccine Maitri initiative reaches out to the Indo-Pacific. Consignment of Made in India COVID-19 vaccines arrive in Fiji. Prime Minister Narendra Modi announces the updated edition of Exam Warriors book. Says the book contains new mantras of success to help students cope with exam-related stress. Campaigning in full swing in the battleground states including Assam and West Bengal, where second phase of polling to be conducted on April 1st. Tough fight is being witnessed in Nandigram constituency of West Bengal. TMC leader Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee holds roadshow in Nandigram. Senior BJP leader Piyush Goyal campaigns in Kerala. External Affairs Minister reaches Tajikistan for a 2-day visit to participate in the Heart of Asia Summit. Discusses bilateral relations and Chabahar port with Foreign Minister of Iran Javad Zarif. Container ship Ever Given stuck at Suez Canal refloated after a week. The ship has caused unprecedented traffic jam on the shortest shipping route between Europe and Asia. Outrage over killing of more than 100 anti-coup protesters in Myanmar. Defense ministers of 12 nations condemn military violence in Myanmar. US President Joe Biden says situation in the country is absolutely outrageous after security forces opened fire at a funeral on Sunday. Massive fire breaks out at Indonesian state oil company Pertamina's refinery, injuring 5 people. More than 950 residents nearby evacuated. Large explosion engulfs the refinery's storage tanks. No impact felt on the processing plant and operations expected to restore in 4 to 5 days. Let's first talk about the Holi celebrations. Amid the prohibitions due to the COVID pandemic, Festival of Colour was celebrated across the country. From Ganga Ghat in Varanasi to Miramar Beach in Goa, people were seen playing with gulal and exchanging sweets with friends and loved ones. Holi is also popular across the world as celebrations progress through the day. Greetings also poured in from different parts of the world. At most places, there were restrictions on public celebrations, yet it did not dampen the spirit of the festival.
होरी खेलत नंदलाल बिरज में होरी खेलत नंदलाल ग्वाल बाल संग रास रचाए ग्वाल बाल संग रास रचाए नटखट नंद गोपाल.
The season of spring, Holi festivities and a riot of colours. Holi celebrations took place across the country with festive fervour and amidst COVID precautions. From Bake Bihari Temple in Uttar Pradesh to Miramar Beach in Goa, from Amritsar in Punjab to Bhubaneswar in Odisha, people celebrated the festival of Holi in traditional ways.
वैसे बहुत हमने कोरोना में तकलीफ झेली, अभी थोड़ा खुशियां मना के अपने आप को चेयर अप कर रहे हैं।
हम लोग हर साल यहाँ पे बड़ी धूमधाम से होली मनाते हैं। हर साल की तरह इस साल भी होली मना रहे हैं।
रेस्ट्रिक्शंस है, बट हमें ये कभी पहले चांस नहीं मिला था फैमिली के साथ खेलने के लिए, क्योंकि हम लोग बाहर रहते हैं। इस बार फैमिली के साथ खेल रहे हैं, बहुत खुशी हो रहा है, बहुत दिनों बाद खेल रहे हैं।
Holi is celebrated in diverse ways and traditions across the country. Holi in Varanasi has a special significance. People also participate in the celebrations on the banks of Holy Ganga. In Ujjain, people enjoyed with colours with traditional fervour. Festivals in India have a close relation with the harvest seasons. Holi is celebrated around the time of Rabi harvest. The two-day festival begins with Holika Dahan, and the next day people play with colours and greet friends and family. This year the festival is celebrated amidst the global COVID pandemic. People played Holi in Delhi, Hyderabad, Patna and Lucknow following the COVID precautions. In most parts of the country, large gatherings and celebrations were prohibited. Police spread awareness among masses to celebrate the festival in a responsible manner. President, Vice President and Prime Minister shared their best wishes with the countrymen on the occasion. Colours of Holi were also seen flying high at the embassy's bases in New Delhi. Holi was celebrated at embassies of Nepal and Kazakhstan. Besides India, Holi is celebrated in a traditional manner in Nepal. The ambassadors were seen soaked in the colours of celebrations. Nepal's ambassador to India, Neelambar Acharya, said both countries share similar culture, traditions and values, which is an important aspect of bilateral relationship.
हम सभी को होली का मुबारक कहते हैं। ये संस्कृति जो है नेपाल और भारत को संस्कृति ने भी जोड़ रखा है। हम लोग का बहुत नज़दीकी संबंध है। हम सब भारतीय मित्रों को अपना प्यार, अपना मित्रता, अपनी शुभकामनाएं देते हैं।
Not only this, personalities across the world shared greetings on Holi. Tennis star Novak Djokovic wished his fans a happy Holi with lots of colours and happiness. President of Taiwan, Tsai Ing-wen, shared festive greetings and wished people a safe Holi. Prime Minister of Fiji, Frank Bainimarama, shared images of early Holi celebrations. US Vice President Kamala Harris greeted people on the occasion of Holi. In a tweet, Kamala Harris wrote, "Happy Holi. Holi is best known for vibrant colours that are tossed at friends and loved ones. Full of joy, Holi is all about positivity, setting aside our differences and coming together. A message that's been embodied by communities across the world during these tough times." While the Holi celebrations were limited this year due to COVID precautions, the colours and festivities helped lift the spirits and bring people closer to one another. Bureau Report, DD India.
And in the fight against the COVID pandemic, India's vaccination drive is continuing with great momentum. Over 6 crore doses of the vaccines have been administered so far. Now, 8 states, including Maharashtra, Punjab, Karnataka, are recording steep rise in new cases of infection. Over 68,000 new cases of COVID have been recorded in the past 24 hours. Most of them from these 8 states. Night curfew is imposed in major cities of Maharashtra. People are appealed to follow COVID-appropriate behaviours at all times. Here's more.
Has registered a significant achievement in its fight against COVID-19. The country's total vaccination coverage has surpassed a total of 6,530,435 vaccine doses administered through 9,92,483 sessions, as per reports made available on Monday. On the other hand, COVID cases are surging in the country as 8 states, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Chhattisgarh have reported high number of COVID daily new cases. The COVID-19 status in India: over 68,020 new cases reported, 84.5% of new cases reported from these 8 states. 68,020 new cases registered in the last 24 hours. Maharashtra reports the highest daily new cases at 40,414. Karnataka registers 3,082 cases. Punjab reports 2,870 new cases. Recovery rate now at 94.32%. In the last 24 hours, 32,231 people discharged. 291 deaths reported in the last 24 hours. A total of 24 crore 18 lakh 64,161 tests conducted. 9 lakh 13,319 samples tested on Sunday. Restrictions have been imposed in major cities in Maharashtra. Night curfew is in place since Sunday in the state. With the sudden surge of coronavirus cases, the civil and district authorities have placed ban on Holi celebrations in both private and public places. Streets in Delhi wore a deserted look as Holi celebrations banned at public places in view of rising COVID-19 cases. Delhi government deployed various teams to oversee restrictions on public gatherings at Holi.
तो ये जो बीमारी है इसको बेसिकली जो हम चाहते हैं कि कंट्रोल रहे, उसमें कुछ जो मास्क वाला चीज़ है कि मास्क वियर करें, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग, सेफ डिस्टेंसिंग में रहें और फ्रीक्वेंट जो हाथ धोने की जो हमारे पहले भी प्रथा थी, तो ये अपने हाथ धोएं लोग.
Rajasthan government restricted the timing of holding public functions only between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. on March 28th and 29th. It has also appealed to the people to follow COVID-19 guidelines and protocols like wearing face masks and maintaining social distance to stay safe from infection. Haryana government too banned public celebrations on Holi festival in the wake of surging COVID cases in the state. In several other states as well, restrictions were imposed on Holi celebrations at public places as cases continued to surge. Bureau Report, DD India.
And my colleague Shama is joining us from Mumbai with more updates on the COVID restrictions. Now, Shama, we know that by a significant margin, Maharashtra is leading as far as the fresh new cases of COVID are concerned. Take us through what the situation is like in the state and the steps that have been taken, particularly night curfews.
It's a relief today when we are seeing today's numbers that has come today, and that is a little above 31,000. Seeing yesterday's number that was about 40,414, this is definitely a relief, but we can't be, celebrating it because we know for the fact that tomorrow again these numbers can rise, and hence Maharashtra government has been taking a lot of stringent measures to contain the spread of the virus, starting from the lockdown, starting from the night curfew rather, that was imposed since Sunday night. And we were seeing, all the police personnel asking these shops, establishments, restaurants and every place to shut down their shutters at 8 p.m. And after 8 p.m. they cannot function because from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. the night curfew would be imposed all over the Maharashtra state. Apart from that, we are also seeing, yesterday an important meeting was held where Chief Minister, State Health Minister, task force officials and other people were included in this meeting, where a clear picture was drawn that, if people are not adhering to the restrictions, if they are not adhering to these rules, then Maharashtra should be prepared for a lockdown, for another lockdown that could be seen, because a lot of efforts are being taken to keep the economy afloat, but health of the people is a priority of the government, and that is why Chief Minister, he said that, if things don't get better and continue to remain like this, Maharashtra can see another lockdown, because we see medical facilities like the beds available in the hospitals or COVID centers, and also the ventilators, the oxygen facilities, they are under tremendous pressure. And if we are talking about the municipal corporations or the city-like areas, this is still better. But if you're going to tier 2, tier 3 cities in areas like these beds and other facilities are very much under stress, and people, the COVID positive patients, have to share those beds, have to lie on the floor to get themselves treated. And this is the entire situation in Maharashtra, when we are talking about the medical facilities getting under tremendous pressure if things continue to be like this, because Mumbai has also reported close to 6,000 cases, and places like Nagpur, Pune, Pimpri Chinchwad, these places have also been recording highest numbers in terms of Maharashtra districts, and in terms of the areas which are recording the highest numbers. So it is a high time when people start getting responsible for the fact that it is high time that they should
absolutely COVID appropriate behavior becomes
or face another lockdown.
All the more crucial there. Shyama, thanks very much for getting us those updates from Mumbai. And let's now look at some updates from the poll-bound states. Campaigning is on in Assam and Bengal for the second phase of polling. Hot seat of Nandigram goes to polls in the next phase. Meanwhile, sporadic violence is also being reported during the poll campaigning in Bengal. Campaigning is also on in Tamil Nadu, where DMK-Congress alliance is defending against charges of promoting dynastic politics. Here's on the roundup on the elections.
On one hand, the entire country is immersed in the joy of colours amid Holi celebrations, whereas 5 states are on the other hand engrossed in electoral campaigning. While the second phase of campaigning in Assam and West Bengal is in full swing, the election campaign has also gained momentum in the southern state of Kerala. On Monday, senior BJP leader Piyush Goyal campaigned for the party in Kerala. He also conducted roadshow in Kochi. He accused the left parties of communal appeasement.
People of Kerala are tired of corruption. The people of Kerala are tired of failure and the misgovernance of both Congress and the communists. They want development, they want progress, they want jobs for their young boys and girls. They want to see tourism grow, they want to see IT sector grow, and Kerala has such big potential. I think Kerala is poised for change. They deserve change.
After first phase of voting in West Bengal, all eyes are now on high-profile constituency Nandigram. A tough fight is being witnessed between Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee and BJP leader Shubhendu Adhikari. Mamata Banerjee, who arrived in Nandigram, held a roadshow. The polling for the second phase in Nandigram will be held on April 1st. Union Home Minister Amidst is also scheduled to do a roadshow in Nandigram on the last day of campaigning. Nandigram is very close to me, and that is the reason I went to fight in Nandigram. It was me who fought in Nandigram. Who else came over there? Till 10 to 12 days, nobody came, and people came only when the situations were normalized in Nandigram. Unique colours and style of campaigning are also seen in West Bengal. BJP leader Loket Chatterjee campaigned on a boat in favour of the party candidate of Holi. Prior to this, she campaigned on a bullock cart. Sporadic violence are also being reported during poll campaigning in West Bengal. Recently, a BJP worker was targeted in North Damdam area, in which his mother suffered injuries and later succumbed to the injuries. The BJP is blaming TMC for this violent act. Home Minister Amit Shah expressed grief over the death of the mother of the party worker. He tweeted that, "I'm saddened by the demise of Bengal's daughter Shobha Mazumdarji, who was brutally beaten by TMC goons. This pain and wound to her family will haunt Mamata Didi for a long time." BJP National President JP Nadda also tweeted saying, "May the soul of Nimta's mother Shobha Mazumdarji rest in peace. His sacrifice will always be remembered. BJP will always fight for the safety of mothers and daughters." However, TMC is denying all allegations in this regard. On the other hand, election campaigning is in full swing in Tamil Nadu. BJP leader Saina NC accused the DMK and Congress of promoting dynastic politics in the state. While campaigning for his party in Chennai, CPM leader Prakash Karat targeted the NDA alliance in the state. MNM chief Kamal Hassan was also seen campaigning for his candidate in Puducherry ahead of the elections. Bureau Report, DD India.
Some other news now. The new and updated edition of Exam Warriors, written by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, is now available with many new mantras for students as well as parents. It is available at retail stores as well as online. Exam Warriors module is also available on the Namo app. In a series of tweets, Prime Minister Modi said the new edition of the book has been enriched with valuable inputs from students, parents and teachers. Substantive new parts have been added that would specially interest the parents and teachers. He said the book reaffirms the need to remain stress-free before exams. Prime Minister added that it has many interactive activities for students and parents. He exhorted, "Let us all help our youngsters as they appear for their examinations." In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, a municipal councillor and a police personnel attained martyrdom in a terrorist attack at municipal office in Sopore area of North Kashmir's Baramulla on Monday. Councillor Riaz Ahmed and police personnel Shafaqat Ahmed received grievous injuries in the attack and succumbed to their injuries. Another councillor, Shamsuddin Peer, sustained injuries and was shifted to hospital for special treatment. The area has been cordoned off by the security forces to nab the assailants. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar reached Dushanbe on the 3-day visit to Tajikistan on Monday. He will attend the 9th Ministerial Conference of Heart of Asia Istanbul process on Afghanistan tomorrow. Dr. Jaishankar met his counterparts from Iran and Turkey and held discussions on Afghanistan peace process and bilateral aspects. He is also expected to meet leaders of other participating countries. As a lead country for trade, commerce and investment, confidence-building measure under Heart of Asia Istanbul process, India has made concerted efforts for strengthening regional connectivity for greater economic integration of Afghanistan with the region. A dedicated air freight corridor between cities of India and Afghanistan and operationalization of Chabahar port in Iran are steps in that direction. After arriving in Dushanbe, Dr. Jaishankar first visited the Chaukat Highway project site. He lauded the good work being done by the Border Roads Organization (BRO) under Indian grant assistance. The 8-lane highway will decongest Dushanbe to a great extent. Some updates from Myanmar. The situation in Myanmar remains grim after the untold level of violence claimed over 100 lives on Saturday. Thousands of people have fled to Thailand to escape the escalating violence. India shares over 1,600-kilometer-long border with Myanmar, and part of it is porous in Mizoram, where under a free movement regime, residents within 16 kilometers on either side are allowed to move freely between the countries and can stay up to 14 days at a stretch. But COVID restrictions have prevented movement on the spot.
The tense situation in Myanmar continues as the military junta continues to violently suppress protesters. Many of them are fleeing for their lives, looking for refuge in neighboring India and Thailand. US President Joe Biden on Monday condemned reports that Myanmar's armed forces opened fire at a funeral near Yangon as people had gathered to mourn at least 114 people killed in the bloodiest crackdown on protests since the coup began. Witnesses say at least 6 children between the ages of 10 and 16 were among those killed on Saturday. Mourners at the Sunday funeral service of a 20-year-old student said they were forced to flee after being shot at.
It's terrible. It's absolutely outrageous. And based on the reporting I've gotten, an awful lot of people have been killed totally unnecessarily.
A UN special rapporteur for Myanmar said that the army was carrying out mass murder. He called for an isolation of the junta, cutting off its funding for oil and gas, as well as halting its access to weapons. Heavy fighting erupted between the army and some of 24 ethnic armed groups in Myanmar that control swathes of the country. Around 3,000 people fled to neighboring Thailand after junta jets bombed areas controlled by the Karen National Union militia near the border. Thailand is preparing for a potential flood of refugees.
Please, let this be an internal issue for us. We don't want to have an exodus of refugees and evacuation territory, but we will observe human rights too.
Since the military seized power in Myanmar on February 1st, hundreds of police too have fled to India. Some police personnel have said that they left Myanmar because they feared persecution after refusing to obey the junta's orders to shoot protesters. Myanmar's junta took power on February 1st. While elected leader Aung San Suu Kyi remains in detention at an undisclosed location. Foreign criticism and sanctions imposed by some Western nations have failed so far to sway military leaders. Hundreds of people have died in the ongoing protests since the coup began. With agency inputs, World Today Desk, DD India.
The stern of a huge container ship that has been wedged across Suez Canal for almost a week has been freed from the shoreline. Local authorities say the course of the 400-meter-long Ever Given has been corrected significantly. Further efforts to move the boat are still on. Meanwhile, as the reports are coming in, the traffic on the Suez Canal has started, even given blocking one of the world's busiest trade routes, forcing companies to reroute ships and causing long tailbacks of hundreds of vessels.
Ever since the news of the refloating of the giant container ship MV Ever Given was out, it was a sigh of relief for hundreds of cargo ships stuck in congestion in front of the Suez Canal after navigation was disrupted due to the stranded container ship. On March 23rd, the 400-meter-long merchant vessel Ever Given, an enormous container ship almost the length of the Empire State Building, had become jammed diagonally across a section of the Suez Canal last Tuesday. This had halted traffic on the shortest shipping route between Europe and Asia. Not only this, the disruption had strangled world supply chains, costing the global economy billions. But news of relief came early morning on Monday when a significant breakthrough in the rescue attempt was achieved after diggers removed 27,000 cubic meters of sand going deep into the banks of the canal. The Suez Canal Authority on Monday said the ship had been mostly straightened along the eastern bank of the canal. Suez Canal Authority Chief Osama Rabi in a statement said, "The position of the ship has been reoriented 80% in the right direction. The vessel had successfully responded to pull and push maneuvers. It is good news. We are not finished yet, but it has moved." With the disruption of navigation, the price of shipping one container from China to Europe rose to $8,000, or 4 times the price compared to last year. Moreover, global oil prices kept fluctuating last week due to concerns that the blockage of the Suez Canal may last for weeks. With hopes soaring that the busy Suez Canal will reopen soon now, crude oil prices fell on Monday. Brent crude, the global benchmark price, dropped as much as 2% earlier in the day before recovering somewhat, but was still down 0.6% to $64.03 a barrel. US crude was down 1.1% to $60.30 a barrel. The fall in oil prices is a sign that the pressure on global supply chains is set to ease. Bureau Report, DD India.
A massive fire broke out at Indonesian state oil company Pertamina's refinery on Monday, injuring 5 and leading to the evacuation of some 950 residents nearby. Video shared on social media showed a large explosion engulfing the refinery's storage tanks. Pertamina said there had been no impact on the processing plant, hopes to restore operations in 4 to 5 days. The fire started just after midnight during bad weather. Although the cause was currently unknown, the oil refinery said in a statement. An External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar in a tweet informed that in an outreach exercise to the Indo-Pacific, the Made in India COVID vaccines have now reached Fiji. And now updates from the symbolic Dandi Yatra flagged off by Prime Minister Modi on 12th March this year. The Yatra traces the routes that Gandhiji had undertaken way back in 1930. The Yatra on Monday reached Badgam from Umrache in Surat, tracing the historic route.
March 1930. Gandhiji had presided from Umrachi in Surat to reach Erthan's primary school in the morning. Bathed in sweat, Gandhiji had put a portion of the soil on his forehead and had bowed in gratitude to Mother Nature. 91 years on, traversing the same path, the Padyatris too reached the same primary school at Erthan today, where they were welcomed by enthusiastic school children.
गांधी ने शाला, धर्मशाला और तालाब का किनारा ये 3 चीज पसंद किया है यात्रा दरमियान में। और यहाँ पर जब आए जबरदस्त गर्म था, तो उस गर्मी से बचने के लिए उन्होंने मिट्टी उठाई और पूरी मिट्टी को माथे पे मलते हुए कहा ये चंदन जैसा है, और ठंडक महसूस की उन्होंने।
इंडिया को अंग्रेजों की गुलामी में से मुक्त करने के लिए उन्होंने आंदोलन चलाया और उस आंदोलन का नाम था सत्याग्रह। और सत्याग्रह और अहिंसा उनके शस्त्र थे। तो ऐसे बहुत से विद्वान उनके साथ मिले।
From Erthan, the next stop in the Dandi Yatra was Bhatgam, where Gandhiji had retired for the night in 1930. Ishwar Bhai Patel, a local resident and a satyagrahi at that time, recalls the memories of this historic journey.
सत्तू की पोतरी पहन के हाथ पे डंडा लेके चला गया, ब्रिटिश सल्तनत के सामने इनसे बंद पुकारा था और वो चलता था 13 के 14 दिन बाद वो भटगांव 19 तारीख को शाम को 6 बजे पधारे थे।
Chants of Vande Mataram greeted the Padyatris when they reached Bhatgam on Monday. Minister of Water Supply in Gujarat government, Kuvarji Bhai, was also present in the cultural evening organized on the occasion. A sense of nostalgia and euphoria prevailed everywhere as the Dandi Yatra marches on. Bureau Report, DD India.
And with that, we conclude this edition of Newsnight. But stay tuned for a special presentation on Holi celebrations. Namaskar.